Hey guys, this is Ash with Gamers Compete. I was ranked 93rd with tanking on North American server and am a master support and damage player. So basically, we're going to be starting a series of just some basic tips, and we'll get into more depth into each character's mechanics later on. But for right now, I just wanted to go ahead and do just the very basics of trying to reach that minimum 60 frames per second, or at least a stable frame rate. So you can see up there on the top left, I've got my frame rate holding steady at 175. That is because my monitor is 144 hertz, so I should technically have it at about 150 capped, but I capped it at 175 just for personal preference. Each person's rig is going to be a little bit different. Their personal computer might have a bit of different components, but some very basic things you can do is you can turn off your local fog. You can set your local fog to low and your dynamic reflections to off, and just that in and of itself is going to already make your frame rate a lot higher than if you had it, say, to set ultra, for example. I'd actually need to restart for it to display, but if I had it set to ultra, it would be significantly lower. But so there's that. Another thing is up here in the top left, you'll sometimes see there's only one dot right now, but there will be 3 dots occasionally. And for that, what you want to do is you want to go into your video options, reduce buffering, and you want to turn it off. Click apply a few times, turn it back on, and click a few. And so what happens is sometimes it will glitch out and turn off. So that's another thing. You want to have your set steady frame rate. For computers that aren't necessarily as powerful, you want to cap your frame rate lower because you want a steady frame rate. So yes, I might be able to get 260 frames, but when I shoot, my frame rate goes down. And honestly, my monitor can't support that anyways, but so, and as you can see, those 3 dots right there have appeared. So we're gonna go video. Of course, now it goes away. There we go. And it jumps up video, reduce buffering off, reduce buffering back on, and there we go. But the very minimum frame rate that is widely suggested is 60. That is because most monitors play at least 60 hertz. And so by capping it at 60, you guarantee that you're going to have a steady frame rate. Or if, say, for some reason your computer can't get 60, play with it a little bit and see, maybe your steady cap is 30 frames per second. Ideally, you want the highest steady cap that you can get that your monitor supports. So if you have a 60 hertz frame rate, you want to set your frame rate to, I'm going to fix this real fast, to as low as, or to as high as you can play with it. But you also want it to be a steady frame rate so it's not jumping around when you're actually in game. So if I was in game with my 300 hertz instead of 175, occasionally, say, everyone might drop their ultimates, and when they do, my frame rate might drop to, say, 150. So that huge frame drop is going to cause me to have some performance issues. So just little things like turning off local fog, turning down your settings from maybe high, turn it down to low, or turn it down to medium. It's a lot of playing with your own rig and seeing. I highly suggest having your GPU temperature displayed and your frame rate displayed, as well as your latency. The reason for that is you can see your latency is, I have a 61, but say it's 150. Then you know one of the issues that you need to fix ideally is going to be your Wi-Fi or your internet connection. Oh, broke it. And then you can see my temperature is about 70 Celsius, which is okay. anything 80 and higher I would start looking out for, because at that point it starts affecting the life of your equipment. So that's another thing to keep in mind when setting up all these settings. So that's basically it, and I will see you guys later.